Welcome and good evening. Thank you for joining us for a special night of character. I'll be saying a few words after our presentation of colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. But I want to recognize Hamilton High School Naval Junior ROTC group who will be presenting the colors here in a few seconds. But they are led by Charles Ferris. We have Gage Mann, Deontay Tipton, and Alexis Burke, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, please stand if you are able.
Left. Face. Hand. Salute.
Please join me in the saying of the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Eternal and gracious God, it is with humbled hearts that we gather in your presence this evening. We give you thanks for this wonderful meal that is about to be set before us. We thank you for our heroes of character that we honor here this evening and for the example they offer through their actions and character of their very lives. Bless the words of our speakers this evening as they share with us, and help us to make godly decisions of good character every day and to not be conformed to the pattern of this world. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts always be acceptable in your sight as we strive to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you, our God. For we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Hamilton High School Navy Junior ROTC. Fine job again. Please be seated. And thank you, Pastor Lewis from the Presbyterian Church, for the invocation. Hamilton is a city of character. I want to read to you our mission statement and a few words about the history of Hamilton being a city of character. Our mission statement: strengthening our community by working together to promote good character. Now, the genesis of the city of character comes from many factors, events, people, organizations who are responsible for this event, responsible for this city being a city of character. In 2012, the Hamilton City Schools were recognized with the National School District of Character Award after many years of character education in our city schools. About the same time, two students at Miami University Hamilton, Kofi Ansah and Sean Koresh, helped create a highly developed, student-directed project civility program under the guidance of Dr. Bob Rusbassen. And this led to the creation of a panel of Hamilton citizens who addressed the question of civility and character at Miami University Downtown Forum titled Civility in the Community. And then a group of us discovered the Character Council of Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, and we, Hamilton, became a city of character. So you may not know this, the character quality of the month for March is decisiveness. Decisiveness. Much, much better than procrastination. I'm not going to procrastinate and get in the way of your dinner tonight, but I do want to say that all of you can get emails about character from the Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Council of Character. And we do have, I believe, tonight, their board chair, Gary Lee, from the Greater Cincinnati Character Council, and 5 of their board members. And if they're here, would you please stand up? And how about a round of applause, a Hamilton welcome to the Greater Cincinnati Character Council. And I actually carry in my planner this Character First pocket guide. And this reminds me of how important character is in our everyday lives. You know, as I look around this room, I see so many great citizens of Butler County. And I would like to give each one of you name recognition, but there's just too many of you. But I do want to give a special Hamilton welcome to a group of very young people way over here in the far corner. And they're from the Bethany School, here to celebrate Pat Carruthers. So stand up and wave. Stand up and wave so you can get on TV over here, okay? They are our future. Thank you very much. All right, now for our guest speakers. All right, Alvin and Kelvin, start walking up here. All right? I want them to start knowing you right away if they don't know you already. Alvin and Kelvin Manty of the outstanding Manty family. In 2002, Steve Manty won the lottery in Ghana and came to the United States. He left behind his wife Dorothy and 2 sets of identical twins. One set, back there we have Alfred and Gottfried. And wave, you want to stand up? Right. And they're wearing the same clothes, I mean, okay. And Alvin and Kelvin. 12 years later, Dorothy and the boys joined Steve in Hamilton, and we're so glad that you came to Hamilton. Alvin and Kelvin went to Hamilton High School, where they were honor roll students. They were active in athletics, and they were in the show choir, Rhapsody in Blue. Alfred and Gottfried began their studies at UC. Today, there are 5 Mantys at UC. And can you imagine that? 5 at UC. Now, Alvin is studying biological science. Kelvin is studying engineering. And you know, if they ran for president and vice president of the UC student government, it'd have to be probably co-presidents, you know? Because you're going to like both of them, I guarantee you that. They recently became U.S. citizens along with their mother. Yeah, how about some applause for that? All right, man. Thank you. Thank you. And, oh, by the way, the entire family's musical. Alfred and Gottfried play instruments, while Steve, Dorothy, Alvin, and Kelvin sing as the praise team for their church. Today, we're going to hear from Alvin and Kelvin, and they're so pleased they've taken time out of their obviously busy schedule to speak to us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Alvin and Kelvin Manty. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're very pleased to be here this evening. It's honestly a privilege, and we're before so many heroes and legends of Hamilton. We just want to say a big thank you to all of you for having us tonight. We'll start a bit about us and about our family and why we're here tonight. My family moved from Ghana to America about 4 years ago. And our father had moved over a couple of years back, and I believe he was kind of setting things up for us to move. But we had the opportunity, but it just wasn't working out. In Ghana, we used to live by an airport, and we'd always see, the planes fly and the noise, and it was wonderful. America was the dream place.
It still is.
It still is, even till today. Everyone wants to come to America, because America. So in Ghana, we live by an airport, and we've always wanted to be in America. Growing up, our father wasn't really around because he was in the States. So it was just I, Alvin, our 2 older brothers, and our mom, who took care of us. And we lived in a tiny house. It wasn't really big, but, we managed, and everything was all right. One day in the middle of the night, our house burned down. It just caught fire. So, and at that time, I and Alvin were really young.
I think we were like 2 years old.
Something like
I
that.
think so.
Alfred and Gottfried were a bit older, so they probably remember it more than we do. But then our house caught on fire. So our mom moved us all out, and we had no place to go. That's where the church kicked in. So our mom's church came over and they helped us move to a new place and get settled. So for quite a while we were homeless, if you would say, but then God provided. So we're grateful for that. So we moved. And in this new place we had to rent a house because you don't just get a house. So we had to rent the house, and we were living in this rented house for quite a while. Then our mom's job, she was a banker at that time. They transferred her to a different region in Ghana. So guess what we all did? We moved again to a different region. And it was in this region that we grew in our faith in Christ, and the family grew as a whole. We all just matured. We became better people there. Our mom bought us these Bible books with pictures, and that's how, you know, we got to know of the Bible stories and these heroes of faith and everything. So we grew quite a lot at this new place that we're in, and it was called Cape Coast. Then from then we moved again to a different region in Ghana, and this time it was a level up. It wasn't a level down. This time we were moving to our own place. So as I speak, you can kind of see a transition from not owning our own place to renting a place to being in our own place. And all of this is one reason why we got to that point was because our mom listened. Several times things were hard, but then she just made a decision. She just made one. We didn't know where to go. She was like, we're going here. So we just went. And that's kind of where we got to where we were. She didn't spend time figuring things out, because when our house burned down in the middle of the night, you don't really have a lot of choices to make. So you make a choice, you decide, and that's what we go with. And through it all, luckily for us, she's made the good decisions. And that's why we're where we are today.
Nice job.
So we moved to a different region. We moved to a different region in Ghana, and this time it was our own house, our own place. And things were good. God was good to us. Mom was still working in a bank. Dad always visited about every 2 years, so we always got to receive things from America, and that was awesome. They came in like these huge barrels, and it was just awesome. So things were good. Then our mom one day told us that she wanted us to move over because you know, we wanted to be with our dad. We wanted the entire family to be together. But then we didn't feel as if he should come over to Ghana because for some reason we believed that our destiny was in this country. So if our destiny is going to be in this country, then we had to come to this country. So our mom went to get our visas. She was denied. Then she tried about 2 years later, and she was denied. So she tried again. And guess what? She was denied. And then all of a sudden, one day, we were at school, it was on a Friday, and all of a sudden our mom's car pulls over in the driveway. And the kids were like, Alvin and Kelvin,
Your mom is here.
Your mom is here, your mom is here. Because they knew her car. And we're like, okay. So we go over to the car, and mom is like, and so we get in thinking we're in trouble, like we've done something bad.
Like the windows are closed, like it's just really strange, you know, like air conditioning is on, mom is facing forward, she's not smiling, that sort of situation.
So we're in trouble, that's what that means. So we get into the car, and then she just reaches into her bag, and then she takes out passports. And we're like, what? What? And she's like, we're going to America. And at that point, we begin to freak out in the car. We're like, oh my God.
But the windows were closed, so no one heard or saw a thing.
But that's definitely one of the highlights of our life. And she told us that we were going to America. So we were really excited. And then we went over to our older brother's schools and then told them. So the entire family was happy because we're finally going to America. And so we came to America. And you have a really great country here. It's awesome.
It's really nice.
It gets cold, but it's awesome. So we came to America, and when we came to America, we went to Hamilton High School. Hamilton is a great place. If there are any kids, please, Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely not Fairfield. I'm just kidding. Fairfield is a great school. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Hamilton was an amazing school. We grew as the young men that we are in Hamilton. We had amazing teachers, amazing programs to be in, amazing friends, and the overall experience was amazing. Thank you. So I'm gonna take off from here. We were told we had 15 minutes, and so this is like our biggest challenge of the day. So we're in America now, and we're just kind of getting into new experiences. And some of these new experiences might be things that are everyday lives for some of you, you know, very trivial things, but then we were just having the time of our lives. We got to see snow. We got to touch snow. We got to taste snow. We went to a buffet for the first time in Marriott Hotel. That was very
That
nice.
was very,
as well.
very
That was very nice as well. The food just kept on coming in. We were leaving and we're like, I don't know if we should take some with us. Like, is this gonna happen again? So yeah, we had a lot of first experiences, and it was really amazing. Fast forward till we go through about 3 years of high school, you know, honors and all the good stuff, volunteering and school, and we became the way we are now. And so we're now in the University of Cincinnati. I'm a biological sciences major. Kelvin is going into mechanical engineering. Alfred is going to become a doctor. Yeah. Godfred is going to become a pharmacist. Mom is going to become a nurse. And my father takes care of disabled people. So it seems like helping people has just been like part of our life. Personally, I feel like if you've been in a position where you've been helped by people, it kind of becomes your moral responsibility to help other people when you can. Our family, we just view it as sort of wrong, really, if you have the resources to be able to help someone who needs them. You don't just say, oh, God bless you, take care. If they're hungry, you give them food. If they need clothing, you give them clothing. And so that's kind of what our family is built around. And we're a really faithful family. By faithful, God is our everything. I've said this before, that we wouldn't be who we are if you take God out of the picture. And it's just who we are. So we can't stand in front of anyone really and not mention God's name at least a lot of times. And so, by God's grace, we're all in the University of Cincinnati, and we love it there. Everything is just wonderful. School is hard, don't get me wrong. College is not easy. Anyone who tells you that, I'm not going to say they're lying because we're on live TV. But school, it requires effort, but then you'll get there, And most of you have already, you know, crossed that barrier. Thinking back, I hope. Thinking back on our lives, we see many decisive moments. We like to think of decisive moments as the defining moments of our lives. This happened, and because of this, we now have this. Of course, the biggest one you can tell is, you know, the whole Coming to America sequence. If you've ever watched the Coming to America movie with Eddie Murphy in it, that was us. I mean, we didn't have gold or anything, but that was us. You know, that was us. And so we've been there before, and we see many decisive moments in our lives. And most of these moments, strangely, are the very little things. There's a car in front of our church, and it has a little tag at the back, and it says, the best things in life aren't things. And I just love that, because a lot of times people are like, oh, when your eyes are closed or something. But that was just really profound to me. The things that make us who we are found in the very little moments. I was thinking of one of those things that I would share today, so I'm going to share it. We've been very disciplined in our lives, and by discipline, I mean if you spare the rod, you spoil the child kind of discipline. And so that's we like all young children went through the phase of like a slight rebellion, you know, kind of don't go out, and we're like, we will step out and come back home, we will not, you know. So we've been through that period before, and our parents they did a great job of letting us know that we were in the wrong. And so we've been disciplined very heavily. But I think we turned into fine young men. So I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I'm not complaining at all. And it
it's in these little moments that we find really character. Because right now in church, we've been learning about kind of getting into what true Christianity is about, and then kind of living out that life that God requires of us. And discipline is a really big part of that. You take discipline out, and you take out a lot of really good things. There are many distinguished people here, and I'm pretty sure that discipline has been part of your lives too. I don't know your stories. We all have our own separate stories. I don't know yours. But then I'm pretty sure that there came a point where you had to make some sort of great decision, and you decided to go along with it regardless of the risks that were involved. And because of you, Hamilton is what Hamilton is today, and I'm very grateful for that. Yes. We're young and we're upcoming, and we have to make some of these great decisions as well. And we have to turn our eyes to look up, because where else are we going to look? We look up to the future, as he mentioned about the young ones over there, that they are the future. Yes. And they look up to, I would say people like us, but then we look up to you, and then I guess they look up to us. They look up to people like us to be able to know the right way that we're supposed to walk. And some of these characters like acceptance and compassion and honesty, respect and responsibility are things that they should see in all of our lives. Now, do you want to add to that?
Yes, definitely. So some of these characters are what they should see in our lives, and it's something that we see in all these legends seated here before us today. We looked up to you, and that's why we're where we are. So our only hope is that they can also follow in that step. They can also follow in the template that you great people have already set before us, so that all together we can make Hamilton an even better place. So we want to thank you for that again. We wanted to talk about decisiveness, and through our story, like I mentioned, when we were in that night after our house burned down, our mom made a decision, just a decision. And I'm pretty sure you all know how it feels to take the first step. One thing that I realized in college, since I'm still in my first year, is that the first step is always the hardest step to take. Because once you get to college, you're like, oh, I don't know anybody. I want to stay in my own corner. But then until you are brave enough, courageous enough to take that first step to say hi to someone, you may never even know anybody. But then you realize that the blessings and the benefits of knowing people and making connections come after that first step. They don't come before. And the first step is always the hard point. Before we get co-ops, the first thing that you have to do is to walk up to a company and say, hi, my name is Kelvin. That's the very first thing. It's always the first step. So that's where I see decisiveness. Decisiveness is that first step to make a change, to do something different. And it's always hard. It always is. But then once you find that strength within you to be able to take that first step to make a decision, to change something about your life, to change something about someone else's life, that's where the blessings flow in. That's where things change. They change after the first step. We realize that it doesn't, most of the time when you're taking these first steps, it seems a little bit overwhelming. You don't know, I don't have the resources, I don't have the network. But then it really just takes one person to stand up. And we don't see that anywhere else, like at best, but then in America. It is in America that everyone here is given a voice. If a movement needs to happen, we need only one person to stand up and then get it going. And I feel as if that's where really change happens, like Kelvin has said. It needs only one person to stand up and say, I want to do this, regardless of what is going on, regardless of what I have. And the little that I have in my hands, it's enough. And if one soul is affected in a better way by the little that I can do, that's enough for me as well. And our parents have made a point to keep teaching us that it's that one-to-one relationship. We all have big dreams. We want to accomplish great things. Like our family, we have this dream of maybe going back to Ghana and then different places in the world and starting hospitals and making available resources that weren't there when we were there. But then it starts on that one-to-one relationship. You meet one person who is sad. You say hi, you give them a smile. They feel a little bit better. And it's just that you change the world one person at a time.
You change the world one person at a time. And our family has really kind of driven that into us. And so it's our prayer that as we keep on growing and meeting all these different people, we keep on learning and we keep showing forth the character that God has instilled in us through the discipline of our parents. And that we can make all the people who look up to us and all the people who've helped us along the way proud of us as well. And we honestly wouldn't be here without any of you. So we want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job. You can sit down now if you want to. If you want to. No, you can sit. You know, those two guys in the Manty family are also heroes. Please, Alvin, Kelvin, and your brothers, come back to Hamilton and lead us, okay? Let's meet our heroes of character and our Lifetime Achievement Character Award winner. Each honoree will be receiving a custom award made by Inside Out Art Studio in downtown Hamilton. Inside Out Art Studio is a studio where physically and developmentally challenged citizens of Butler County create art. And you can see them maybe from where you're at, but they do create some really beautiful pieces of artwork. Our committee did not want to put our honorees on the spot this evening, so there will not be any official remarks from the podium tonight. We do encourage a lot of unofficial remarks, though, after the awards are given out at the end of the evening. So please congratulate these honorees personally, shake their hand, give them a smile, because these are some amazing people. And they're going to follow up you guys pretty well tonight, too. I'm just going to tell you that. So we do want a group picture at the end of the evening because this is going to be part of history in Hamilton, Ohio, these honorees tonight. So when I say your name, please come up here to the podium and bring a family member or two with you, because we'd like to have some pictures taken next to this sign and you holding these custom-made awards. Now, our Vanna White this evening is Board Chair Stephen Lippert from Hamilton Castor. And I'll tell you what, he has done a great job in leading the City of Character Commission. I also want to tell you that the Ohio Senate, thanks to Senator Bill Coley, has got a proclamation for each of our honorees tonight. So they know about you in Columbus, Ohio, okay? You ready, Steve? Okay. You know, teachers know everything. They really, really do. And a teacher named Emily Kane nominated Madeline Bolser. So, Madeline, we're going to read all about you here in a second, but why don't you come on up here with a family member, because I want them to see you while I read this. And I want you to imagine some of the things that she has accomplished as I read it. Maddie was one student in particular that stuck out to Mrs. Kane from the very first day of school to the very last day when it came to being an example of character. Madeline accepted all of her classmates for who they were on the inside. She did not care about the color of their skin or their disability. Now imagine this, if you would. Maddie was helping another student with some handwriting. She would use her hand over the student's hand to help a classmate who struggled to even write, even highlighting their lines like a teacher would. And even though Maddie was only 6, classmates would ask her for help with their classwork because she would teach them, not just giving them the answers, but she would actually teach them. Another example, students can earn lunch with their teacher. And the first couple of times, Maddie chose a friend to be with her when she had a chance to eat lunch with a teacher. And she would bring her best friends initially, Then after that, Matty would ask who has not had lunch with the teacher, another student who maybe didn't get that special lunch, and she would take that particular student to lunch with her, with the teacher. And that is just some grown-up, high-level character. I'll tell you that right now. Now I'm going to read this next one line by line, word for word, because this one almost brought a tear to my eye. Another memory that stuck out to me that Matty showed character was when a couple girls would ask others to help them with a cartwheel. Yep. One of the first grade girls could not figure it out and said, "I'll never be able to do it. My feet don't go over my head." Now imagine this. Matty continued to encourage her fellow students and told this one, she can do it. She can do it. She kept saying it over and over. About 2 weeks later, the little girl came to the teacher, Mrs. Kane, screaming with excitement and yelled, "Miss Kane, I did a cartwheel because Matty kept telling me that I could." And Mrs. Kane calls Matty little teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate and applaud Madeline Volser for her being a hero of character. She really chose compassion over putting herself first. Thank you, Madeline, very, very much. I told you there's going to be some special people, and they are all special. Colin Heineke, a teacher, nominated Rachael Carter. And Rachel, you want to come on up here? Bring a family member or two with you if you want to. Rachel's really smart. She gets A's on quizzes and tests, right? I mean, you get good grades. But Rachael was shy and reserved. She had challenges as a child with cancer. Her ability to always put her education first while dealing with the challenges of childhood cancer and of poverty was very inspiring to her teacher, Colin Heineke. Throughout last year, Rachael continued to grow as an individual. She came out of her shell. She joined student council. She participated in many events as possible, as many as she could, with these groups. And every Friday at school, I guess school gives out treats in the cafeteria for honor students. Well, Rachael would spend her lunch handing out these treats to the honor students. And she'd also, I think, eat lunch with the teacher and start preparing those treats. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, she did it all. But Rachael also participated in Cardboard Cities event where students raised money for the homeless, and they slept in cardboard boxes for a night in November. So they really got an idea of awareness, but they also raised money. I think they also got clothing items for the homeless. Is that correct? I think that's the way that Cardboard City program is being run. But also Relay for Life. Relay for Life is a cancer awareness fundraising event put on by various organizations, but Hamilton High School seems to have taken a real leadership role in that. Rachael raised the most money for Relay for Life and even had her whole family come along and participate in the event. And Rachael walked 15 laps around the track as a cancer survivor. Rachael decided to also run for student council treasurer this year and was elected into the position by her peers after giving a very inspiring speech. And she already had some ideas, and one was, I think, for bus driver appreciation. So, creative ideas. I mean, she's definitely a student leader. And her teacher mentions her kindness and positive attitude towards life is refreshing to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate Rachael Carter for her leadership and for her character. Thank you, Rachel, for being people-centered and not self-centered. I'm getting all those things right, aren't I, Character Council? I'm working on it. All righty, another special gentleman. Most everyone in any regional chamber of commerce knows Michael Folks. Michael Folks originated from an impoverished background in the countryside of Jamaica. He confronted poverty. He fought his way through poverty to beat the odds. Michael's faith in God provided and continues to provide great support to him. He climbed up the ladder, but then sometimes when you climb a ladder, you fall down. But I think when he fell down, he fell on his back so he could still see the stars. Is that about right? I'm sure you did. But he climbed the ladder, maybe fell down a rung every once in a while. But in 1997, after 8 years of arriving in America, Michael started his own company, the M.A. Folks Company in Hamilton, Ohio. Now, Michael regularly visits Jamaica, especially to the school that he attended. And you can see in his book some pictures of the school that he attended to learn about poverty and the challenges of being in Jamaica. He established an international entity, the Melbourne and Michael Folks Foundation, in honor of his grandfather, which provides assistance to children both in the United States and Jamaica with a no borders, no boundaries mentality. The foundation's initiatives include medical care, educational assistance programs, an auditorium project, sustenance farming, and a student cultural exchange program. Now, Michael Folks also created something for the younger generation to get them to become leaders in their schools and leaders when they get out of school. And it's called Mighty in Character Concept, the MIC initiative. It's built on 7 fundamental elements: truth, kindness, gratitude, courtesy, humility, courage, and faith. And as the mighty in character leader, Michael believes that one must lead by example. And he developed something at his company, a second opportunity for convicted felons through his Second Chance Employee Program. And he employs those who need those second opportunities, and he's just a leader in so many ways as a company leader in our city. Michael has written his life story in his first book, Driven by Desperation. He wrote that book to inspire and motivate others. And as his nominator, Joni Copas, states, Michael Folks walks the walk. Ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate the leadership and the character of Michael Folks. Michael Folks. So Michael cast aside despair. He endured, he persevered, and those are great character traits. The next nomination form states Shakeela Matthews. Okay? That's Pastor Shack. Come on up, Pastor Shack. We all know her as Pastor Shack. And I'll tell you what, and her two sons here, I mean, come back and lead us, okay? Wait till you get a chance to meet them. What has she done? Well, one is the Pastor Shack Job Youth Mentoring Program that she created. The program features, of course, mentoring, life skills improvement, job skills improvement, and even creates some spending money and gift cards for young people who probably don't get allowances and could use some of those gift cards. So that helped out a lot. And also, by the way, there's a program called HYPE, H-Y-P-E. That stands for Hamilton Young People Empowered. And she kind of financed that out of her own pocket. And there is more. Pastor Shack, her nomination statement says, is someone who embodies the 5 character traits of acceptance, compassion, honesty, respect, and responsibility. You know, she doesn't know a stranger. She has a big heart for everybody, because first you see the smile, then she has some welcoming words for you, and And then she'll make you feel like you've known each other for a long, long time. And that's Pastor Shack. I guarantee you that. She's invested so much of her life and her resources in the community. She went to high school here in Hamilton, left for a while, and thank goodness she came back. She's an advocate, a phenomenal mother, and a nomination says she's also my friend. So let's celebrate Pastor Shack's leadership and being a hero of character. Pastor Shack. Thank you. How about a strong handshake? You usually do. Thank you. All right, another great handshake. You know, she embodies the creativity trait over accepting underachievement. Sean Qureshi, Miami University graduate and a Xavier Master Degree student. Okay. While I read this, keep in mind two things: civility and walking the walk. As a result of some Miami campus incidents in September 2011, Sean volunteered to serve as a co-chair of a new initiative called Project Civility. So basically, he helped initiate this whole concept of Hamilton being a city of character. He recruited concerned students who scheduled biweekly meetings and planned programs, all aimed at improving the culture of civility at Miami University. The civility seeds he planted at Miami now have grown well beyond its borders. And I believe it's almost international now, too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
The fledgling Project Civility he started has gained such significant traction today that Project Civility members are making presentations to area high schools in an effort to promote civility in our secondary schools. I remember Dr. Bob Rusbosson. Many of you knew him, and I know we looked up to him because he was a fine college leader and worked so well with our college students. He told me with great pride about Sean and his friend Kofi in this Project Civility program. But Sean continues to give. He, on his own initiative, recruited an intern from Miami University to work with himself on projects for the Hamilton City of Character. So he's going from university to creating this character program initiative in the city of Hamilton. And that intern now serves as a full-time member of our committee. Sean is focused on social media to promote the works of our Character Council on truly a shoestring budget. He uses Facebook tools to grow hits on our Facebook page. The social media campaign was highly successful as we kicked off our first Character Week in Hamilton in February 2017. Sean's truly a man of great character. He sees an opportunity in his college days to bring civility to a sometimes harsh culture. And we do appreciate his involvement with the Greater Cincinnati Character Council. And because of people like Sean, civility wins and rudeness loses. Now, back in the early days when the civility program was started, Sean and his friend Kofi would give out these wooden nickels, okay? On the one side, it says Miami University Project Civility. On the other side, it says, like us on Facebook, Miami Project Civility. So, I'm giving you your coin back. Thank you, Sean, for your leadership, okay? So let's celebrate this gentleman right here, Sean Qureshi. And he's up here with his parents. So Sean chose to be bold instead of fearful in the face of incivility. Joanne Wallace. Joanne was nominated by Kristen Youngmeyer, who's a very valuable Hamilton employee. And she did such a good job with her statement of nomination, I'm just going to read it word for word, okay? Because it's so right on. I mean, if you know Joanne, this is right on. Joanne is an exemplary hero of character. I know Joanne through the 17-strong advisory board, where she volunteers. Kristen was actually new to Hamilton in June of 2017, and Kristen remembers feeling so welcomed by Joanne into her new Hamilton community, because Joanne has a warm presence about her. All the 17-strong advisory board members are some of the hardest working and compassionate volunteers you can find, and that includes Frank Downey, who's sitting out there. But Joanne stands out in her own special way. She has been pivotal in development and growth of 17 Strong, in particular in outreach efforts to engage residents in supporting neighborhood efforts. Her ability to go into an area she's unfamiliar with and make connections with groups is a reflection of her welcoming, accepting character. And I'm going to tell you about the North End, because she did a great thing on the North End, which, I'll be blunt, is an area which a lot of folks don't know much about. They drive around the North End, but the North End has some real great quality people. And it took someone like Joanne Wallace to have a meet and greet in the North End, where citizens came out of their houses, talked to each other. She invited council members and our great city manager, Joshua Smith, and we met some of the people in the North End. But some of these individuals who came out of their house to meet people and meet each other are now leaders in the North End. And she created this leadership in the North End. There's improved parks in the North End because of Joanne. There's going to be a crosswalk. There's going to be improved safety in the North End. And she didn't even live in the North End. But she stepped up and said, this area needs some help. And that says a lot about you. As I continue to read this here, while 17 Strong Advisory Board members are a collaborative group, I see Joanne as someone to turn to for advice in determining what are the next right steps, which is a reflection of her inherent honesty, respect, and sense of responsibility. At the end of the day, everything Joanne does in 17 Strong is driven by her compassion for others and to make Hamilton a better place. We could use a few more Joanne Wallaces in the world, so Hamilton is lucky to have the one and only Joanne to learn and grow from. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Joanne Wallace. You deserve it. You. Ralph Pat Carruthers. Don't call him Ralph. I did that once at Kettering Hospital, and right away he goes, Pat, I'm Pat. Okay. So I've never made that mistake, but I thought I'd give your full name there. Pat Carruthers is our 2018 Hamilton City of Character Lifetime Achievement Award winner. We are proud to announce him as our first Lifetime Achievement Award Character Award honoree. This award recognizes a person who has given a lifetime of his talent and resources to improve the quality of life here in Hamilton. Pat was born in 1930 and grew up in Glendale, Ohio. He came to Hamilton in his late 20s after serving in the Marine Corps and attending Miami University. He was employed at Champion Papers for 23 years and ended his career as number 2 man in the sales service department. While working at Champion Paper Company, Pat met Hamilton native Donna Young, and the couple was married in 1958. So glad you met her. In Hamilton. Several years later, Sarah was born. Early in their married life, Donna proposed helping out a needy family each year at Christmas. 4 decades later, the Carruthers family continues to play Santa Claus to the entire city of Hamilton all year long. And this is a long list. I'm going to leave out something, but I'm just going to do the best I can here. Pat and his family have contributed to our city like no other benefactor. He has improved our city's health care through his many significant donations to Fort Hamilton Hospital. He has benefited the arts community with his vision to create the Carruthers Center for Arts and Technology. Our children have been able to thrive because of generosity towards the Boys and Girls Club. Students enjoy fabulous creative and performing art opportunities with the establishment of the Fine Arts Center at Wilson Middle School. Sponsoring city pools, expansion and improvements at Berkeley, Carruthers Signature Ballroom at the Fitness Center. Pat's commitment to a thriving community, a strong educational system, and high-quality health care have benefited all of us who call Hamilton home. After Donna's passing, Pat established a Fine Arts Memorial Scholarship in her memory at the Community Foundation. This fund will allow many Hamilton graduates to pursue their dream of studying fine arts in college for years to come. And the Carruthers family legacy will live on into the future through the Hamilton Community Foundation. Multiple funds held at the foundation allow for Pat's charitable wishes to continue to be extended to many deserving organizations. And generosity begets more generosity. Pat's example of being an avid community volunteer devoted to our city has been passed on to Sarah and his two grandchildren, Elizabeth Proctor Carruthers and Ralph Rogan Carruthers II. All right. Man. He's going to be governor, I think. He's going to be governor. Heck with this mayor stuff. You're going up, man. You're going up. Pat is quoted as saying, "My father always told me money's like manure. Doesn't do any good in the pile. You got to spread it around." Pat surely has spread it around in a really beneficial way for all of us. Healthcare, education, youth, arts, recreation. Our Lifetime Achievement Character Award is just a small token of our appreciation for all you have done for the city of Hamilton. Congratulations, Pat. Pat's daughter commented, "My father shows acceptance every day for everyone he meets. When he finds out someone or some organization is in need, he immediately goes into trying to find out the best way of helping them. His compassion for his fellow man is profound. At 87, he still stands when a lady enters the room and never complains of an ache or pain because he wants to know how you're doing. He has more than proven his sense of responsibility to his family and devotion to his town. And on top of that, is a military hero from World War II as a Marine." Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Carruthers.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored.
Thank you. We're honored to be here with you tonight. I told you you had a bunch of all-stars tonight. Then you throw in the Manty family. And we got, I tell you what, I don't think any city could put together an all-star of characters like you have met tonight. Now, sir, for some thank yous that made this evening possible. Of course, Miami University Regionals, Jeanette's Delicacies, Miller Coors, Noonan's. And I'm going to mention our fantastic Get It Done City of Character Board. And I'm going to go ahead and read their names, because I want you to know who they are, and why don't they stand up when I mention their name. You've met Vanna White, Steve Lippert, our board chairman. Brandy Carter, Joni Kopus, I know some of them aren't here. Peter Engelhard, Pat Gans, Jill Gaynor, Dr. Pete Haverkus, Dr. Pastor John Lewis, Zalene Miller, Nancy O'Neill, Joan Witt, Sarah Wadashek. I'll tell you what, these folks just flat out get it done. I mean, they really, really do. You know, if we keep telling ourselves that character starts with me, we will be an even better Hamilton and Butler County. I want to wish you all a good evening, good character to all of you, but how about another standing ovation for all of our honorees and our Lifetime Achievement Award winners. If we could have the honorees come up here for a group photograph, because like I said, this is Hamilton history. Come on up here. That goes from the third grader to this slightly over 70-year-old over here, Pat Carruthers. Come on up. Let's get this group picture, and then you can have your unofficial remarks and talk to some people, okay? So come on up here for photos.